Hey guys, so welcome to my video. This video is going to showcase exactly what's in the photo there. I'm going to show you how to make those animations you see on beauty gurus. So first things first, we are going to go into PicsArt. And once we're on PicsArt, well, I already started this, so we're not going to use this one. I'm actually going to discard it. And we're gonna go and do the first step, which is basically to find the photo that we're gonna use. So after finding the photo, obviously what we want to do is go to Cutout. So I'm gonna click Cutout right now, and once I'm on Cutout, I have the option to either select it fully, or I can just choose the person, and you'll see what I mean there. I think here I was just talking about the fact that it says face up on the bottom of the photo. I used it just because really I wanted to kind of accentuate her features and also accentuate her lipstick and her makeup and stuff, because they'll come across better when I cartoonize the photo. So yep, we're gonna go on to Cutout. Next step is to select the actual person there, and then we can remove little things from the photo that we don't want. And as you can see, I have the selection of, I can select the things myself that I want to cut out, or I can actually select a little person and it'll do it for me automatically. But keep in mind, guys, that when you do that, it's going to not highlight everything that you want. As you can see, some of her shoulders missing. So what I did was I basically erased the part that I didn't want, because I'm not going to use the entire photo. I'm just going to use like a little bit of it. Here I wanted to give myself a little bit of room when I go into edit and soften up the photo and round out the edges. But I basically go in to restore that shoulder, and then also remove any flyaways or anything that I don't want to show in the photo. Because keep in mind, this is going to come across when you're actually like putting in your background and everything. So I actually like zoom in here and just unselect anything that I don't want in my cutout. And when I'm creating a cutout, I'm essentially creating a sticker. So I can put that sticker on top of a background and it'll make it look not realistic, but I mean, it serves a purpose for what we want to do. We want to make her into a cartoon. So here I'm just literally refining my photo. Unfortunately, when you go into erase or restore certain parts, more than you anticipated will be erased. So you'll have to go back in and restore whatever you erased, or erase whatever you accidentally restored again. So as you see here, that's what I'm doing. I'm actually just restoring everything that I want and leaving out whatever I don't need in the photo. So now that I have my cutout, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the little next button, and I'm going to save it, and I'm just going to download the photo. Okay, because when I do that, I need it to be saved, so when I come back I can put a background on, and then I can put the photo on top of it. So here I've selected my background. Actually, I love this photo, but we don't have a full body photo, so I don't need all of it. So I'm gonna crop it eventually. You guys will see that soon. This is a voiceover, so I'm talking a little bit faster, but yeah, I'm going to crop the photo because I don't need all of it. As much as I love it, I think it's beautiful and very mystical, I'm going to crop it. So I click the crop button, and I'm actually just going to crop it up to the part where you only see the sky. So it's just over the girl's head over there. So now I have everything I need. It looks very beautiful. You can choose whatever background you want. Sometimes PicsArt even gives you like little themes that you can remix. I don't necessarily copy those. I just use the background for those, and then I use whatever features that, look good. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just going back into my photos, and I clicked add photo. And now I'm just softening up all the edges like I said I would, because I'm going to add in clouds and all this little stuff like wings. So I want it to look softer. I actually want it to look more blended. I don't want the lines to look too harsh. So I'm softening it up a little bit and just removing, again, any parts that I don't really need in the photo. So that's what I was doing here. And then on the head, you can see there's a few still kind of edges that are harsh edges, so I've just removed those. And of course, any time that you're creating any sort of cutout, you're going to have a little bit of leftover like lines. So I was just removing those as well, and really just rounding out the photo because it's kind of a weird angle that this girl took the photo in, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. So now we can actually just place her wherever we need to. Wherever you really want to, you can place her off more to the side or more to the center, that's fine. But we're going to actually get into cartoonizing the photo. So now I'm going to go to effects, and after, you can see we have an option to cartoonize the photo, but I don't want to do that just yet. So I went into effects, I clicked HDR because I want the lines to be a little bit harder, and I want it to be a little bit more, I want to accentuate the features a little bit more so it comes across as more cartoonish, you know? So it's up to you if you want to darken it or lighten it, but I did, I think, darken it here, or sorry, lighten it here. But you can darken it or lighten it. It's really up to you. It doesn't really make a difference. I did just lighten it just for the sake of it, just because it's my personal preference. And then what I did was I went into Magic under effects as well, and I went into Flora. And Flora is going to make it super colorful, so it's really nice. But what you can also do is once you go into Flora, you don't need the full effect. You just need the you want to filter out, you want to neutralize the colors. So you want to click those three little dots that are there to neutralize it, and then you fade it or unfade it as much as you want to. So then I placed that, and I'm going to go back into effects now, and I'm actually going to look at pastel. Pastel has a very weird texture. I don't like to use it all the time, but it does also help in making it look more cartoonish. So I did use it here as well, and I'm going to click those three little dots again just to neutralize the effect so that I can go actually and filter more. And I'm just playing around here with the lighting that I want. I did lighten it here because, again, I want it to come across as more cartoonish. I don't want it to be like a real photo. So then I went back into effects, and I'm going to use Undead. And Undead makes it look very sketched. So I'm actually going to play around again with the lighting. So I darkened it here actually, and I did press those three little red dots to neutralize it and blend it a little bit more and kind of mix all the colors. And then I played around with the fading as well. And then I'm going to go back into effects one more time and literally add Badlands as well, because Badlands really makes it more like a comic style cartoon. I'm not going to leave it just like this, like it is colored. I again press those three little red dots to neutralize, and then I played around with the lighting. And here I think I darkened it actually, and I realized that I faded it all the way, so there really was no point in using it. But you don't have to. You can play around with the fading. And then I went back again to effects, and I actually used Flora one more time. So I want it to be more colorful because it's a cartoon. So I did use the lightened effect, or actually darkened effect, and I didn't press the three little red dots because if I would have, it would have neutralized the photo, and I would have just made it again more blend, I guess. Here I wanted some colors, so I just left Flora as it was, but I did fade it out a little bit so it can blend with the other layers that we had. And now all I'm doing is literally just erasing the edges, because sometimes when you create a sticker, it creates like little unnecessary edges. So I'm just erasing those because I don't want it to look like she has a 5 o'clock shadow anywhere. I want it to look nice, and I want it to look snatched like she does. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going around and erasing whatever lines I don't need, just to make it look less weird and less like harsh lined, I guess. And again, I'm moving anything that's unnecessary and I don't want in the photo. So that's our cartoon right now. We can actually, once we're happy with it, just apply the effects that we applied to her, and we can go into sticker and start adding stuff. So here what I did is look for the cloud sticker, cloud aesthetic, and there's a little rainbow sticker with like clouds on it. Next to that is the white clouds that I wanted, and I think this is perfect for what we're going for. So this is the one I chose, and I'm just going to, in this part, place it properly. Placing is everything too, because you want to make sure you create the correct space in your photo as well. It creates more of an aesthetic. Here I was just erasing it because I don't want the clouds to be over her face. It kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do. I want it to be under her or behind her, because what I'm going to do later is I'm also going to add a crown to her, and I'm also going to add little cherubs or angels around her. So I wanted to look really nice. And then what I did again is I added more clouds. So I added the same sticker, but I reversed it, like I flipped it so that it can occupy the next side too. So the next side doesn't look empty, and then I don't have to crop the photo awkwardly. I mean, you can if you're just posting it to Instagram just as a profile photo, but I didn't want that here, so I added another one, and I just reversed it and flipped it to the other side, so it looks like it occupies some space as well. Okay, so then we have our clouds there. So what I did next is actually go in one more time, and I'm still placing them here because, again, correct placing is everything. But what I did is I went into stickers one more time, and I started looking for my little angels that I want to place in the photo. And you know, the great thing about PicsArt is they have so many options for you. They have pre-made options, like pre-made stickers you can put in there, or you can just put your own little angels and place them wherever you want to, which I think for me was more effective. As you can see here, I chose the one that was pre-made, and I didn't really like it because the photo isn't really like set up that way. So what I did is I selected little angels one by one, and I selected this one with the arrow over here to look like he's shooting down on someone. And then, as you're going to see, I'm going to choose 2 more little angels that look like they're hugging and kissing to look like Cupid shot down on them. And then I'm going to choose 3 more or 4 more that look like they're just playing in the clouds. And it makes it look cute. It gives it a cute little mystical look. So she looks like a goddess of the angels in this case. And she looks absolutely beautiful. And what I also did here, again, is I added the little angels. And after adding them in, I was just playing around with sizing and really colors. Like after you'll see that I kind of went into effects and I wanted to use HDR, but then I realized it's gonna make it look too harsh in comparison to the other angels, so I didn't want to do that. So I just kind of left them as they were. I left them softer, and then I went back and I added the 3 little angels I was talking about because it makes it more playful. It makes them look like they're playing around, and she's kind of there like watching them. It gives them more of like a Mother Earth feel. And I didn't want to select those ones with the flowers because it didn't really fit into what I was doing. So I'm actually looking for the 3 little playful guys right up there on the right, and I'm adding them in, and I'm placing them where I want them to go, because again, keep in mind I'm also going to add angel wings and a crown, so I want them to kind of go in their proper space. So I selected a space for them that I thought was perfect, kind of pointing up at, you know, I guess their mother or whatever. And now I'm looking for a crown. So I selected crown aesthetic, and these are all just stickers, keep in mind, but it helps to create a story or an image that you want. So I'm just looking for like a flower crown. We could have also selected a planet crown here, because if we're going on that specific theme, a planet one would have also been effective, but we'll select a flower one. We'll make her more like Mother Earth. That's perfectly fine, and I'm just playing around with the alignment, and I'm playing around with the angles here because I want it to look realistic, like it's actually on her head. And then I'm actually making sure that I did add my crown for sure. And now I want to go back in because I want to look for the angel wings. And sometimes the thing is I do use like 2 wings at once. Like I use one sticker that has 2 wings, but majority of the time it kind of like goes over certain things if you don't want it to go over. So here I just selected 1 wing at a time, and then again I did the same thing. I flipped it over to the other side to make it look like she had 2 wings that were the same. And I chose kind of like a fairy angel type of wing. And now I'm just erasing it to make it seem like it's behind her rather than on top of her hair and the cloud. So it's kind of going to be like behind the clouds, like she's hiding behind it. And then I'm going to add the other one. But first, before I go there, I'm actually going to do HDR as an effect on this one to make it look like she has wings. Because in another edit that I did, it actually like didn't look like she had any at all because they were so transparent. So I decided that maybe I should do like an HDR filter to actually make the lines here look more harsh. And in this case, I didn't want them to look more harsh because I want the wings to look like they exist. They're not just like they're hidden. I'm putting them there for a reason, right? So I want them to appear on the photo. And so here what I'm doing is I actually did add another wing, and at this point I'm just adjusting it and I'm making sure that the size matches, but I also want to make it look like a little bit real, like she's kind of like fluttering her wings a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just placing it on the photo now, and I'm just editing the parts of the wing that I don't really want. Again, I don't want it to overlap my clouds too much or her too much because I want it to look realistic. I'm going into HDR again, and I'm making sure that our wings actually show up properly, and also I'm making sure that they're same size because that's important. We want them to look like they're the same size. We don't want them to look like different sizes. It's just going to be awkward then. So that's what I did here, and we have our wings. So next what we're gonna do is, continue to place them, of course. Like I said, guys, I'm talking a little bit faster. I'm a very fast speaker, so sometimes I go way too ahead of myself. But I'm placing them here, making sure they're okay. So now I've applied the wing, and I can move on to the next section. And in the next section, I'm gonna play around with masks and brushes. So I think the first thing I do is go into masks, because I'm going to add a mask to the photo to make the lighting look nicer and more mystical. So what I do is, I love the crystallized mask, but it's not appropriate for this one. I'm going to actually use the red haze mask first, which is going to make it look more mystical. And then Swish is also one of my favorites, so I'm going to use that on top. You will see very shortly. So I've applied red haze. Now we're going to go back in and apply Swish as well, because I want to add a little bokeh effect, I think it's called. Bokeh effect or something like that, yeah. And then I'm going to add a lens flare as well, which you can do if you want to add extra stuff on there, that's fine. I added a little lens flare. And again, you can blend that if you want to, do whatever. I didn't really blend it in, I just kind of put it in there. And then now what I'm going to do is go into brushes, and I'm going to look for a glitter effect to kind of give it like a night sky effect. So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter onto her wings. That's why I zoomed in here. So I'm adding a tiny bit of glitter onto her wings, and then just everywhere else to see kind of how it looks. I think I added a little bit too much, and then I went back and said, no, let me not add all of this. It looks way too extra. And then I just decided to add it to her other wing, really, and leave it at that. Because then I'm going to go in within this glitter effect, which makes it look like there's stars in the sky, and it's even more subtle, because we do have a lot of things going on in this photo. I didn't want to add too much more. So then I go back to another effect, another glitter effect, and I'm actually going to add it to her wings to make it look like she's part of the galaxy here. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And then I'm going to erase some parts that I don't really need. So I go into my eraser and I just erase things that I don't need. Like there was part of it over her hair, and then that's pretty much it. So I applied that as well, and our photo is basically done here. You can add more things if you want, like you can add her sign, you can add quotes, whatever it is you want to add. You can even make it into an intro for YouTube. I'll show you how to animate it in 1 second. Here I was just explaining that you can keep adding more, but I think we already have a lot of stuff here. We don't need to add that much more. So all I'm gonna do is like now add in, actually save my photo first because I don't want to lose this progress. So I'm saving my photo, downloading the photo to my phone, and then I'm gonna go click done, because we're done with the photo, really. And then I'm gonna go into my motion portrait app. I have so many apps on my phone, oh my god. And I'm gonna click the little motion portrait sign in the middle. We're gonna go to the library, select the photo we want, and then we are going to make sure we select the proper face, because we actually have more than one face in the photo. So I did select her face, and now it's going to give us an option once we press OK to adjust her eyes and her mouth. So I do adjust her eyes a little bit. So in motion portrait, you can actually make her eyes bigger or smaller, wider or more narrow, whatever you need to. And then you can also adjust her mouth. So here, that's what I'm doing. And then now we've animated our cartoon. So now we can actually leave her as she is. Or if we press a second thing with her smiling really big, it's going to make her talk. And if you talk, she's going to talk, and your voice is going to come across. You can make her sad. You can also make her angry. You can make her look into different directions, up or down, left or right. It's up to you. I didn't really do anything extra. I just pressed a little camera effect here, and then I recorded my cartoon talking or, being animated. And it actually stops it after a certain point. I believe it gives you like 12 seconds. And then after I save my video, and we're pretty much done. We've animated our cartoon. We can add it to our video later on, to our intro or whatever. Or you can even make a full video using your cartoon. It's really up to you. But yeah, that was pretty much it. There's not much really here to do. It's pretty simple. It's just a lot of stuff to add in. It just takes a lot of patience, really. And it's a lot of refining and going back and forth and playing around. But that's pretty much it. If you guys like this tutorial, let me know. I hope it was detailed enough. I think here I'm just going back really, and I'm trying to show you my previous one that I made, just to show you the contrast. But it's pretty much the same. There's not much difference. Here she's just talking using my voice, and that's not me, by the way, so I'm not trying to catfish anybody. And yeah, so that was pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope you guys liked this. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be super happy to help you. And yeah, get at me at any time. If you want to hit me up for an edit, let me know. I'm always happy to do them. They're free for now. If I get enough people requesting it, I might have to charge, because I do also work full time, and I do also run a podcast. So it's a lot to do. But yeah, guys, I hope you really enjoyed it. This is really fun to make. It's been a while since I made anything on YouTube. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will hopefully see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.